And it's time for the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project. I am Captain Logan, and joining me as always is my co-host and sidekick, Austin the Day Ghost. We're going to do a take 2 on this one. It's time finally for the specials, the long-awaited commentary / review that we've been trying to do for 2 weeks. A movie that is very obscure, that not a lot of people are going to care about and even know about, and yet it feels like a big deal to me now, Austin, because we've attempted this twice, and we even had a night that I had to cancel on it. We're finally here.
No, this is like the specials edition. Like we made it.
Naturally, this had to happen. It's always going to be either a movie nobody cares about or everybody cares about.
Mm-hmm. And this one's definitely everybody.
Well, I feel like, enough about our technical difficulties. I feel like this is a movie that more people should care about just because of its now historical significance. It's kind of a fascinating movie to me. And it's a thing that I think more people, as time goes on, might find out about. I think we might be a couple of years out from this suddenly having a little bit of resurgence in interest, if not popularity. I don't know that a ton of people will watch this and fall in love with it and think that it's, even remotely on the same level or league as Mystery Men, which is, real similar category, came out around the same time and completely buried this movie when it came out. But it's just weirdly important now, and I think this is a really good time for us to be talking about this with Superman having come out this year, because James Gunn and Peter Safran are both working on this movie 25 years before or at least 24 years before they come together and start running DC Studios together. Austin, before looking at this, I had no idea that those guys had worked together before. Gunn always talked real highly about Safran, like he knew him from before, but I didn't realize they went back this far together, much less that they did a superhero movie together, much less even that superhero movie is in a lot of ways the blueprint for Guardians and everything else he would do after that, and much less even that Safran would that it would actually be Gunn's brother that puts him in touch with Safran and kind of gets Gunn's career going in the first place. Like you'll have some Gunn haters that get irritated about the supposed nepotism with Gunn hiring his brother for everything. Turns out if it wasn't for Gunn's brother, he doesn't get this job or any other writing gig after that. It's actually nepotism going the other direction, which is fascinating.
He's just repaying it. I didn't think to look up Mystery Men in relation to this on when they came out, but you just unlocked a big thing for me because I just checked them while you were saying that, and oddly, Mystery Men is a year before this, just like Kick-Ass is a year before Super, so you have a similar thing with that.
Oh, that's true too.
Almost
Yeah.
like exactly a decade later.
Gunn talks about it in his commentary on this, or one of two commentaries he did for this. I only watched one of them, but there's actually two commentaries with Gunn in them on this disc. And he talks about it like Mystery Men was part of what made this movie really obscure and people didn't know about it. And so, yeah, they didn't release at the same time, but it's almost like it was kind of redundant after that, where people had already had that. And so this looked almost like a knockoff of that or something. And it also doesn't help that this is so much more of a relatively underground sort of project. Like, it's got obviously some real stars, some real names behind it, but it was made with a super tiny budget. Mystery Men, by comparison, was a gigantic budget, and we think of Mystery Men even as kind of a small movie, but only by Hollywood blockbuster standards. This is in a whole other category. Like, by comparison, this looks like it was made in somebody's basement.
No, there are parts of this movie that look like a Channel Awesome movie, and I kind of love that.
Yeah, it's that's part of the charm of it. Like, it's kind of fun how college project it looks, but it's also there's this weird juxtaposition, right, with how cheap it is and how many people you recognize in it.
Hmm. No, that is very true too.
And not all before they weren't famous either. Like, some of them certainly much more famous after this, but like this was as Jamie Kennedy was getting kind of big. And so he was like
I was gonna say this is like
the big name,
the peak. This is like the peak of his career.
Well, yeah,
period.
that's true because like Son of the Mask is in the middle of sort of the downfall of his career, and that was only 4 years after this.
And well, and we're what, like just a couple years after Scream,
Yeah.
which I would say is like his big thing.
But yeah, I wanted to get some of the background stuff out of the way before we actually got into the movie because it's a very
Mm-hmm.
short movie, and I wanted to try to spend a little bit more time talking about what's actually happening in the film, especially because it's a big cast. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of like little dynamics and things to talk about. Surprisingly tight, kind of. I mean, I don't even want to say tight, but just a lot of. Uh, Again, character dynamics and ideas in like 75, 80 minutes. It's kind of impressive to me that this is as short as it is, Austin.
Hmm.
Especially,
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
and I won't talk about this too much, but I kept being reminded of my own movie, which quick plug comes out this week, Superhero Rewind the movie, just because that's also a very cheap movie. They had a budget. I had like almost no budget, comparatively. But I'm just looking at this and I'm like, I can't get my movie under 2.5 hours, and I don't understand how he packs what he packs into an hour 20 minutes here. This is the length of a DC direct-to-video animated movie. I don't know how they accomplished that.
I mean, he also did just release a 2-hour Superman movie that has like 8,000 things happening in it.
That's true. Yeah, like I guess tight is the right word, scene to scene, but this is a very meandery kind of story. Like it's a simple
It's just an
plot,
excuse for jokes.
but it's a lot. Yeah,
Kind
but
of.
it's a lot of just jumping gag to gag to gag. It's very sitcom-y in that way. Much to Gunn's chagrin, by the way. We'll get into that, but Gunn.
Oh.
So this DVD releases actually a few years after this comes out, so it's kind of cool that you get to hear him talk about it in hindsight. And so he had already done some stuff after this. Like I think, uh, oh, you know what? He's in the middle of making Slither when he does the commentaries for this, and he's a little disparaging about it. Like you can tell he's not happy with a lot of how this came together, and talks a lot about like infighting with the director, and it sounded like a real tumultuous kind of thing. And it sounds almost like maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into what he's saying. He's pretty candid, but he never says this. But it feels a little bit like he kind of wishes he directed it. And he actually says that he just didn't think he was ready yet. He hadn't directed anything yet, and so they went and found a director. And I wonder if this movie doesn't have a lot to do with why he kind of fast tracks into directing, where he's like, look, if I'm gonna write movies, God bless America, I'm gonna do it myself. I'll do it myself.
Well, and I know recently, with Creature Commandos coming out, the big kind of thing he talked about with it is that it was something that he was going back to just writing and somebody else was directing. And
Yeah.
he talked about a lot about how it was a good experience with that, which is something he didn't have a ton of before he started directing. So,
He's talking about this.
yeah, probably.
And he might be talking about Scooby-Doo to some degree.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
and
know
I
how...
don't know what the relationship was with Dawn of the Dead either. Like, it
That's
could be
true,
a
too.
mix of just everything's not exactly what he wanted,
But
but
yeah, I don't know how he feels about
uh,
how the Scooby-Doo movies came out.
yeah, I'm not sure. And that I know the third one for that was supposed to be his directorial debut, but then like it just didn't come together.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I'm
Hmm.
curious to know. Welcome if you're watching live right now. We have not the largest audience we've ever had, of course, for a rewind commentary, but there are more people here than I expected, and we don't have a lag. So I mean, it's a win-win all the way around. I would like to know if you're watching live right now, and even after the fact later on, leave comments too. Who has actually seen this movie? Who is listening to us or watching this with us tonight? That is actually familiar with this, and do you like it? Are you a fan of it? Um, it is available for free to watch on YouTube. I threw the link in the live comments, so you can go find that. This is, again, a real kind of obscure thing, so I didn't figure a lot of people would own it, but thanks to Austin for finding that. It actually is on YouTube. The DVD irritatingly doesn't have subtitles, and so I'm gonna watch it on YouTube with the auto-generated subtitles. Hopefully that'll be good enough for me. But this being a movie I'm not super familiar with, although I have had to watch it a weird number of times the last couple of weeks because I watched it and then I watched a commentary and then I felt like I didn't know it well enough, so I watched it one more time before we tried to do the commentary last week, and then that didn't work out, and so it had been long enough ago. I felt like I had to do it again. So I said I'm not super familiar with this. I actually have watched this 4 times now.
And also too, I'll just mention Nicholas Bodo mentioned there's an even like more recent commentary too. So it sounds like maybe in like the last couple of years he's come back to this
Oh man,
and done another one.
now I wish I'd gotten the Blu-ray because I didn't. That just came out recently, and I didn't know he did a new commentary for it.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why I should have ordered that and upgraded my copy, and I didn't. I didn't know there was anything new on it. I should have looked into that. I was just like, oh, I have that. And so I just went with what I and when I saw it had special features, I was like, good, that's probably all I need. I don't know that we'll ever revisit this for any reason. So like I
Mhm.
will listen to that at some point, but I don't know that I'll have any opportunity to comment on it.
Well, I'd be interested
Well, we're
too
not
because
prepared enough, Austin. Good night, everybody. We're gonna have to do yet a third show on this.
but it makes me wonder because with what you were just saying about that commentary, like I wonder if now with even more hindsight, he looks back at it like, yeah, I'm really not happy, like doubles down on it, or
Or
is
if it
it like
turns around a little bit.
you know, or if he turns around a little bit and it's like, you know what, like for what it is, like it's not exactly what I wanted, but like it was a good time.
He
I don't
could be a
know.
little
Who
bit.
knows?
He could be a little nostalgic about it.
Yeah, I could see that going either way.
He's probably just with hindsight and how well his career is going now, he's probably like less frothing at the mouth than he was in the other commentary, which he does with the actress who plays uh, Miss Indestructible, Patrick Brewster. So it's the two of them in a room together, and it is the most unprofessional commentary I've ever listened to from Hollywood people. It's hilarious. Like at some point, it just degenerates into they're talking about how much they had a crush on each other and how they almost had an affair together, and she starts going on this diatribe about how much she hates Jessica Alba, and it's wonderful. I mean,
Oh my
she
god,
goes
that's
on for five
amazing.
minutes until it's almost like she forgot she was being recorded. And she just goes, oh, you know what? This is probably a bad idea. I probably shouldn't just unload on people that might find out about this. He's like, hey, James Gunn, who do you hate in Hollywood? And he's like, I'm probably not going to say right. It's hilarious.
Oh my god, that reminds me of, I think it's Big Trouble in Little China. There's a Kurt Russell and John Carpenter commentary on it, and there's like a 10-minute stretch where they just talking about like interacting with their kids. And then at a certain point they're like, wait a minute, like we should probably talk about this movie.
Well, and what's funny about it is It's only like 75, 80 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're basically just, I don't know, Gunn's real focused for about half an hour, and then at some point they're like, oh, hey, we haven't really seen each other in a while. And then they have this whole argument about whether or not at some point they stopped being friends, and I'm like, what have I walked into here? Like, at some point I felt like I
that's
should
wonderful.
leave. Like, they were having a private conversation that I wasn't invited to.
Oh, yeah, maybe we should turn this off and get back to it.
Dan Schneider put in a $5 super chat. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Scooby-Doo was supposed to be a PG-13 satire. Some of the adult jokes made it into the final version. Some reports say it would have been R, which I doubt. I doubt that too, although I wouldn't be surprised if Gunn didn't write a kind of R-rated script and then that was I kind of streamlined and watered down a bit, and then it was made even more family after that. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I've always heard the R thing. I wouldn't be surprised because that first movie is like a satire on Scooby Doo. That's why I think the second one works a lot better. Is that it knows what it is from the outset, and they just make that as the foundation, and it's really cool.
What that
But
sounds like,
the
Dan,
first one muddled around.
what that kind of sounds like is it was trying to do Brady Bunch, but push it a lot farther. Because the
Oh, okay.
because
Yeah,
the
I don't know
Brady
anything
Bunch
about
movie
that.
is just a satire on what the Brady Bunch was, but it's like still wholesome enough where there's this kind of tongue in cheek thing where it's like if you take that like perfect 70s thing and you transpose it to the 90s and this family is just hyper unaware of the world they live in, like, isn't that funny? And it worked with that in a way it didn't work with the Beverly Hillbillies. But I could see Gunn kind of looking at that and going, "Oh wait, no, there's like a more adult joke here," and then push it even further because there's a lot of like sexual innuendo all over that movie, but it's real layered, it's real level, like in different levels. We'll get into the movie here in a second.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously how you get like Scrappy Doo as the bad guy, where it's like, oh, here's this like annoying thing in the old cartoons. Like, let's kind of make fun of that. Nicholas Bodo asks if he wrote both. Yes, he does write both, and like I said, he was supposed to direct the third one, but it didn't happen.
Okay, Austin, are you ready to get started here?
Yes, I am.
I've now said everything I had to say about the specials, but we're gonna watch it anyway. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I have more things to say. We'll get into the actual movie and the story, and we'll talk a little bit about the kind of Gun hallmarks that start here, Austin, because I think I've got even more of a complete picture now of how Gunn looks at just superhero teams as metaphors for different like interpersonal dynamics and things. There's we'll get into it, but like there's a whole thing with this that is missing from some of the other team movies he does. That's actually kind of surprising to me. Where I'm like, oh, I feel like we've resolved the chord now. We filled in a little bit. Having
Found the missing link.
yeah, a missing link. Having had no idea that he wrote this until very recently.
And it's directed by the director of Superhero Movie, which is, of course, the biggest, most popular thing he's done. He's never done an HBO show.
No, that guy doesn't.
Superhero Movie.
That guy doesn't work anymore. What happened to him?
No,
It's probably because he made
he
superhero
peaked.
movies.
Well, it's because he peaked with that. He was like, "There's nowhere to go but down." So,
You think after at least the critical success of Naked Gun, they'll bring him back for the reboot of superhero movie?
maybe considering The Last of Us is like losing viewers, probably.
this.
That's
You think he'd do it?
hopefully he'll come back for that and the specials too.
Okay, apologies. We've been on for 20 minutes and we haven't even started watching the movie yet. Let's go ahead and get... Austin and I haven't seen each other in a week.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my excuse.
I mean, it's just regular movie length by the end of this video.
Yeah, that's why we're stalling. That's why.
Exactly.
All right, let's get into it. Here we go. Everybody, get ready to press play when I say now. And once again, you can watch this on YouTube. Everybody, please press play right now. So, Austin, the main reason Gunn seemed disappointed with how this project turned out is he had a totally different approach than the director ended up taking. And his approach was it was supposed to be much more of a documentary-esque style, where it would be like a documentary crew following them around with cameras. And the only thing that's really
Oh.
left from that is all the interviews they do throughout, and that makes it feel and I'm using his words. He calls it sitcom-y, and I thought that too first watching it, which was really not his intent with it at all. Where like obviously it's
Mhm.
supposed to be a comedy, but he wanted it to be much more of a mockumentary kind of thing. This should have felt more like a what's the movie I'm trying to think of? Spinal Tap.
Oh, okay, yeah. Or even like if you want to go to a sitcom place like The Office.
But that's
I
what I'm
did not
saying is
know that.
he didn't want it to be an office type thing, and of course, like he wanted the entire thing to be more mockumentary, where like they're. Like I guess the office is like you're being followed around with cameras. That's true,
Mhm.
and of course that's right after
Yeah.
this. He in fact mentions that that's about to be made in that commentary, which is interesting.
Oh, that's funny. Well, and then his wife, of course, is in The Office, and she gets a cameo in this.
Yeah,
Um,
his first wife. I
so
think he's
immediate.
remarried now.
Yes, yes, yeah, because his wife now is Harcourt in DC, while his first wife is Pam from The Office. Um, no, that you know what that knocked this movie down a bit of a peg. So I'm like, you know what, I that makes more sense.
Yeah, that was the big distracting thing for me throughout.
hmm Yeah, I hadn't had that thought that the whole movie is supposed to be like that, or like was kind of an intent with those interviews, but that would have been a little bit better.
Hmm. And
No,
just
as
the
is, I find it. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, no, no, you go ahead.
But I was just gonna say, like, as is, I just find it really strange because it's got a similar approach to how it tells its story as Abnett and Lanning Guardians, which I just find very strange because obviously that's going to be the big thing that he does that launches him off.
Yeah, that's a weird coincidence.
hmm
Because I doubt he
Yeah, because
got
this
it
is
from
eight
that.
years. No, because that's 2008.
Oh yeah, that's even a
This
lot
is
later than this, isn't
2000.
it? Yeah, what am I
Yeah.
thinking? I had in my head for a second that it was late '90s, but it's not. It's after that.
No, because I think the original series is actually that might even be
No, it
80s.
goes to the '80s. It's like mid '80s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's actually pretty crazy how recent that run was when he makes that movie. That's why I always mess those dates up because I can't get my mind
Mhm.
around just how soon after that they adapted it.
Well, that and Captain Marvel, because she becomes Captain Marvel in like 2015.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix these subtitles and get the auto translate so I can at least get because there's a lot of like banter and jokes and things I'm gonna miss that I don't have memorized.
hmm Yes, there's a ton. I mean, that's basically the whole movie is just people bouncing off each other.
Yeah, it's littered with really clever stuff. It's hit and miss for me. Like there's stuff that I find really funny and stuff that a couple of jokes I'm just baffled by where I don't even really get what the gag is. That hopefully we'll get to and I can mention. So you know how Austin I said I have now seen this movie 4 times.
hmm
I do you also remember how that's the magic number for me with gun
That's the magic.
movies?
Do you have it now where you're like, I watched it a fourth time and now I like it, or are you like, it should have been a mockumentary?
My best viewing was this fourth viewing. I liked it a lot better today. It's so strange. I caught so many things I didn't catch on the first 3 watches, and I felt like I don't know. Maybe it's like Stockholm syndrome or something, but I feel like I adjust to it at some point where like first viewing, it's just I don't know what I was expecting, but like it wasn't this, and it felt like more juvenile than ultimately it is. I think my problem a lot of the time with Gunn is I don't share some of his comedic sensibilities, and so the jokes that do land with me, I'm not seeing them or appreciating them because of all the stuff I'm distracted by that I don't care for. The raunchier stuff and the cruder stuff. And then at some point I start realizing how much stuff is really actually there for me, and then I can ignore all that other stuff. And that's what I finally had this fourth viewing. There's a subtle sight gag that I didn't catch until today. When he walks in, when the Great Strobe, the leader of the group, Sandman from Spider-Man 3, when he walks in and puts this cast is weird. When he walks in and puts up the painting from a fan and tells his wife, "No, I'm putting it here. It's from a fan." He takes down their wedding picture to put it up. Did you catch that?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So good.
And then she's like, "Don't worry, that's getting taken down." And he's like, "No, a fan sent me this."
Like,
that's wonderful.
He's both ultra full of himself and really, really insecure. I think that
we're setting up a couple things because we're also setting up the kind of issues they're having as a couple too.
Yeah,
but
that's true too.
You're not necessarily picking up on that because that's just a funny joke.
No, that's kind of foreshadowing in a weird way, or at least it's foreshadowing what ought to be a breakup, and then the big twist at the end is he's going to get his revenge by staying with her, which is kind of an amusing idea.
Well, and the part of the reason that she's having issues with the relationship is how like kind of full of himself he is.
Yeah, and he just bosses everybody around and makes everything about himself. And you can tell it's because he's overcompensating because he doesn't actually think he's good enough, which is the big difference between him and the Weevil, who is the same kind of narcissist, except he doesn't have any of that. Well, he is a narcissist, but he's a different kind. He doesn't have that insecurity. He really
he's
does.
Rob Lowe, both literally and written. It's a very like typecasted role for Rob Lowe,
which actually makes it interesting that she falls for him and has her affair with him, because she's kind of just trading one kind of narcissist for another, and maybe what she's attracted by in him is his confidence. But the big difference between them is that there is a certain kind of altruism in the Great Strobe, where he's one of the only characters that at least at one point was there for the right reasons. Yeah, he wouldn't. He has this big power responsibility speech, and like it's misguided, but there's some like actual humanity and compassion in it, as silly and ridiculous as it is. And I think that point is kind of driven home by the end, and there's some real like self-reflection with him at the end, which is good. Again, like gun hallmarks. Everybody's got kind of an arc.
Yeah, and we get a big dance sequence. Like we get a ton of his hallmarks.
Yeah, I mean we can get into all of that stuff. You have to have the bar scene where everybody bonds over either a big musical number or just getting drunk together or something.
He has his brother be a really ridiculous character.
That barely or doesn't speak English. I mean, this is basically the Weasel before the Weasel.
Yeah, there's even a couple noises he makes where I'm like, oh, that's Weasel.
Yeah, I don't know that there are clear analogs for like every single Guardians character, or if you could do analogs for everybody in like his other team stuff, like Suicide Squad, and there's so many of these things now. The cartoon he's doing, Creature Commandos.
Oh, Creature Commandos. Yeah, absolutely.
But
we just passed it.
There's some clear ones here and there. Sorry, what were you gonna
say? No, I was just gonna say we just passed it, but my favorite joke, or like I guess running joke in this, is the Minuteman thing.
Yes.
Where his name is Minute Man.
Because he can shrink down. Except for that one time when he got sick and he could only go to 4'5", and being short is not a superpower. That's pretty good.
That's also one of my favorite jokes in this movie.
I like that too. There's weird, almost predictive stuff in this movie. So we're jumping all over the place, but I'm looking at Jamie Kennedy right now, which usually makes me want to throw up. I don't hate him in this, I he's actually kind of fun in this. I feel like he really gets the material, and he's got a good handle on that character. But you'd think with the blue face, he'd be a parody of Nightcrawler. This is 3 years before that.
Yeah, he looks so much like Nightcrawler, but he's like, well, he's even got red in his costume.
Yeah, and in his eyes.
But he's like a 90s anti-hero.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Again, I'm jumping around, but it's kind of weird when you get to the end. You have the big kind of double crosser character that leaves the group, and now they can move on and theoretically be like less dysfunctional and be more of a good superhero team and better for the planet. But then you have this like anti-hero guy that almost went off to be a villain that I still don't fully trust, and you got an alien who just does whatever weird random thing a scene wants him to, and I have no idea what he's actually about. And like, I think maybe that's part of the joke, but like you have the few like relatively, if not still somewhat dysfunctional altruistic characters, and then you still have all these wild card characters. So it's like, oh, we've come together and realized we're really a family at the end. And then I'm like, yeah, I still think there's every possibility this house blows up in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably. But gosh darn it, they're gonna make it work for the outcasts.
Yeah. It's also got that whole thing. You got to have the we're all losers and misfits, and we're standing up for the misfits. It's less anti-hero-ish than Guardians because they are supposed to be a superhero team and they seem sort of sanctioned, and so. And of course you've got, like I said, Strobe's big power responsibility speech here, where they're making fun of the Spider-Man things. With superpower comes super responsibility.
Which is funny because, again, we don't have that first movie yet. We don't have that Raimi, like, we're gonna really beat that into you.
Yeah.
And they constantly repeat that line.
Yeah, you have to be a comic person to even know about that. I mean, sort of. Like, it's already kind of in the zeitgeist, but we'll be a lot more so 2 years after that.
No, exactly. Well, that and it's Sandman saying it, like you said, because it's Thomas Hayden Church. He killed his uncle.
How well do you... I'll get to Super Chats in a second. I wanted to talk about some setup stuff. Yeah. Austin, how well do you think the movie... how adept do you think it is at, like, establishing characters, easing you in so that you're not overwhelmed by the sheer size of the cast? Like, how well does it do at getting us to know these people quickly enough that we care about them and we can keep them all separate? Because that's tough with a cast this size. And it's that Suicide Squad versus the Suicide Squad question of how do you structure that?
Yeah. So I think for me, I had like a pretty good grasp on all the characters like pretty quickly. And I think it helps that they're all pretty different in terms of, the kind of humor we're doing with them. So like none of them felt like I was getting them confused or anything. But it definitely... took me rewatches where I went like, oh, this is a lot tighter. Things like you said, like that picture, where I was like, oh, we're setting up stuff that I wasn't even thinking about because I wasn't thinking, that we were doing that kind of stuff this early.
Yeah, I was kind of blindsided on a second viewing with how relatively sophisticated some of that is. Because, again, Gunn hallmarks even in the structure of it. The fact that these characters initially just feel like goofy, light parodies, and then you realize there is some depth to some of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying this is a super deep movie or anything. It's got a couple of interesting ideas that I'll bring up a little bit later, where it's both riffing on and has its own take on some kind of classic comic book deconstruction things. This is another what if superheroes were in the real world kind of movies, but well before we've made the majority of those. So like comics have been doing a lot of that for a couple of decades, but you don't have a lot of the big ones in superhero movies yet. Your Kick-Ass, your Watchmen, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. I had something to bounce off that, but I just lost it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. In the commentary, I'm forgetting people's names again. Oh yes, Brewster. She suggests, and I don't know if I agree with her on this. I wanted to ask you what you thought, what you think of this. She says the characters are kind of dropped on us too quickly, and we need a breakdown of who they all are right away. And she wished that kind of cut in piece of film that we get that's like them introducing themselves. I don't know if that would have been on television or what exactly that was supposed to be, or it's just part of a what. Maybe there's a documentary happening, and that's what all these interviews are. I don't know what we keep cutting to exactly. I don't know who's gonna watch that, where that's showing. But she suggested the movie open with it, and like I can see the logic in that, but I also kind of like the opening credits with just you're introduced to all these characters before you even know their names, and you get either quirks or even prevailing character traits just out of the montage there with the kind of just silent whatever actions they're doing on camera. So like
Yeah.
you've got Mr. Mind doing his crossword puzzles real fast. You at least get a sense of what his power is. And honestly, a lot of the characters you don't get their powers right away, and it's a sitcom talky thing that's intentionally not doing any action, so you don't get to see any of them ever use their superpowers until the very end.
Sorry, Discord's having that issue where you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, that's all right.
I will respond. I will respond to what you said though.
Let me jump in and out real quick.
When you come back. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So, like I could see the conventional wisdom for moving that to the front, but I also feel like you kind of lose some of the humor in that, you know these characters already, and it becomes way more just exposition heavy, like just kind of like an exposition dump right at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I get off on the right foot with it. I feel like that's almost getting it where we get it. It kind of reinforces what you know already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So it's reestablishing these people because you do need some of that. Like it is a lot of characters to keep track of. Again, especially
it's the prison scene in Guardians, right?
Yeah,
like you wouldn't want to start
time
with
we
that.
spend with them.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about it structurally is there's a real clear this Austin to me is almost like a short story before it's a novel. It's like a 3 or 4 issue miniseries as opposed to like a 12 issue maxi. You get in and you have a clear break in status quo. You have a clear inciting incident. It's we're and I love how like small time and routine and pointless to anyone else on the planet but these people this initial setup and then the conflict really is, where it's, and that is one of the things that makes it feel like a sitcom, but it's we're going to be honored by getting our own action figures, and that's a big deal for how small time we are. So this is like this huge epic important moment for this team, and then the big like first act plot point is they're gonna get broken up because Strobe finds out that his wife is cheating on him, and then the whole thing takes place over a day.
Yeah, actually, as opposed to the 4 issue thing, I was thinking it's more like an annual.
Maybe so.
We just kind of jump in, and it's not like super important. Like we're not in their superhero adventures. This is just kind of like a side thing. So it's not like a big deal if you miss it in the main book.
But you know, they almost broke up for a second. I mean, that's being a little bit disingenuous because at least, and I like this about it too. It is a major important story for them because they're gonna lose their most popular member, who turns out to be a big jerk face by the end, and they gain a new member who could end up being, in some ways, their most important member. If time, you know, if you had a sequel, you know, time moves on. You know what my biggest criticism in this movie is?
What's that?
And this is a very, like, I gotta rewrite the movie to complain about this. But I feel like both character-wise and structurally. By the way, 8 is a really cool idea. I just want to throw that in there. I think that's super neat. But anyway, you sorry, I'm distracted because now we're looking at that weird video thing, and I don't know what we're looking at. So character-wise and structurally, I feel like the bird power girl. What is her name?
Oh,
Nightbird.
Nightbird. Yeah.
She comes in and she should be more the eyes in for the audience than she is. I don't feel like she gets enough screen time. And I also really want her to be the glue that brings the team back together at the end. That seems like a really natural thing to do with her, where she has that moment toward the end, or like in the third act, I guess, where she's like, all you people do is talk about sex, and you have your, you know, egotism issues, and you've forgotten that we're here to help people. And I feel like that should be a speech to the group that, like, breaks them all out of their, like, pathetic, all I care about is me thing, and bring them back together. I feel like Gunn needed another draft because, especially on first viewing, I was like, I'm not sure I'm buying them all coming back together the way they do. It kind of feels like Strobe just accepts it because they all decide to show back up, and he's just like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. Like, that could have been a lot more powerful than it was.
See, I do think they do, like, fully unite because of her, because it's the way she gets attacked on TV is kind of what ultimately, like, fully forms them back.
That's what it's supposed to be, but the problem is I felt like he had already kind of relented by that point. I got the sense that if that hadn't happened, they still would have been a team at the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's what, you know, what you're saying, like, he's like, you know, I'm gonna be here with you just to make you suffer, but, like, that's the moment where it finally clicks, like, no, we should, you know, just do this because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But it could be tighter. Like,
and
I'm
you're
not
right. That's not fair
because
because I am rewriting it to some degree, and I do like that idea a lot. That like she's the encapsulation of how they're all about the outcast, and that it's you can't judge the book by the cover. I mean, the biggest problem everybody had, this was the big thematic idea that tied the whole movie together for me, Austin, and this might seem like a weird out there read. I felt like this movie was all about the danger in comparing yourself too much to other people.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Like, that's what the whole movie's about to me. Is like, if you'll just take the world on its own terms and be confident in who you are and accept the fact that you're not going to be the big men on campus all the time, you'd find you're in. But the problem is they care more about their reputation than they do actually about helping people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, we just got to the toy convention part, you know, where the whole thing with them is to be a superhero, you're really big, you finally made it once you have your own toys.
Yeah.
Like, they're more concerned with that than anything else.
And importantly, their most popular member has already kind of had that, and that's what proves how popular he is, because he's had a Pez dispenser.
Yeah, and he's like an asshole about it.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you know, unlike the rest of the team, I have had Pez.
I also don't like the way they talk about the Pez dispenser, because it's like nobody's ever looked at a Pez dispenser. He says, a Pez dispenser with a little me on it. I'm like, that's not how Pez dispensers work. It's just your head. What are you talking about?
That's a little him.
Yeah, but he says a little me on it, which is almost like I'm imagining this like full figure with legs and arms.
He's minute man sized on top of the best dispenser.
Exactly. Let's talk about that now that he's back on screen.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Gunn as an actor in this? Because we haven't even broached the fact that he's playing one of the main characters in this.
I think he's pretty fun. Like I don't see him here, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get why he stopped acting. I think he does a good job here.
I don't think he's a supernatural actor, but I think
Mhm.
he's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
That's
I'm with
exactly
you.
it. Like,
I'm somewhere in the middle on that, where like I don't look at that and go, oh, of course he stopped acting. Look how terrible he is. But I can also see why that's not the direction he decided to go.
mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's part of that like trauma mentality that he starts with. I mean, not even starts with. He runs DC like that, where it's you only have so much money, you have to do as much as you can. So like, it does definitely have that, and he's kind of gotten enough money now that he doesn't have to do the acting part, but he still runs DC like that, where it's like, do as much as you can.
Yeah, that's true. The big thing that was the gap filler for me, Austin, with this and his other team superhero movies, is this is, and it's funny because it's the first one he did. This is the first time I've seen him do a team that wasn't that is formed already.
Mhm.
They're always
Yeah,
origins.
that is true.
And it's interesting because, in its way, the Justice Gang in Superman is not that far off from what these guys are. It's like that's the first time that we get a kind of formed team. I mean, obviously they're more confident and competent and put together than these guys are, but it's still that kind of cynical, like superheroes as a corporate product thing to some degree. So like they're more functional, but the point of them in that movie is that they not to just review that again, but the whole point of the Justice League or the Justice Gang, excuse me, in the Superman movie is to kind of offset Superman's actual altruism and say this is more what you would expect superheroes to actually be if we had them in reality. And so that kind of shows you just how much more beyond a lot of people Superman is, and how much he really cares and is just there to help people.
Yeah, and
And
then he
so
inspires them to do the right thing at the end.
yeah, and so it's really interesting that we go almost full circle with that.
Hmm. Yeah, for
If
sure.
you don't think I'm reaching too much, but I had that thought watching this.
Mhm. I mean, you are correct. Like it is. I hadn't even thought about it like that. But you are right. This is a place where it's not an origin.
Well, because I'm always comparing the different gun teams and just the slightly different metaphors for interpersonal dynamics it is, where Guardians is a like a group of misfits that come together to be a family, and then when you get into the Suicide Squad, it's more of like a friendship theme. With this, it's dysfunctional family that almost breaks up and finds a way to stay together. Like it's that family that's already there, and they're like the Simpsons if none of them were related, or most of them weren't related.
Hmm.
By the way, I don't think the fact that I Strobe and Minute Man are brothers is brought up enough. Like the couple times that's mentioned, it keeps hitting me where I'm like, oh, that's right, they're supposed to be related. And there's kind of a funny throwaway gag where they're supposed to be Siamese twins, which makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't come up a ton, but it is kind of funny because it's James Gunn and Thomas Hayden Church, and then right next to James Gunn a lot of the time, and specifically in that first scene when we find that out, is Sean Gunn, and they look very similar, but they're not related.
That's hilarious. Young Sean Gunn, because I'd never seen him this young in this makeup for whatever reason, kept reminding me of James McAvoy in the face. I just kept imagining McAvoy
Yes,
in
I
that
had that
makeup.
too.
Did you really?
I had that too. I was like, oh, it's split. Like this is one of his personalities. He just becomes very green.
The other
Well,
thing I
kind of
had,
green. He's not especially well painted.
because I don't know if I've seen Church really outside of Spider-Man 3. And so I had a minute when I first watched this where I was like trying to peg him, and I was like, okay, I know this guy who's that's right. As soon as I saw his name, I was like, that's right, that's Sam Neill in Spider-Man 3. But for a split second, and I knew it wasn't him immediately, but for a split second I was reminded real hard of Peter Weller. And I couldn't stop thinking about Peter Weller through the whole movie because he's got a little bit of that in the face, but his voice is really similar. And I was like, if you were ever gonna recast RoboCop, and obviously we did, but like he would not have been a bad stand-in for Peter Weller.
You know, I've never thought to compare them, but the second you said it, it like unlocked, and I was like, they do have a similar look and voice. You're right.
There's an affect about them that's real similar, and then you get to the middle of the movie, and he's broken the team up, and he's gonna go become a welding asshole, which is hilarious. And the running guy is like, okay, you're gonna have to move to Detroit, and he goes, I want to live there, and I'm like, I've been thinking of Peter Weller this whole movie, and he's gonna go move to Detroit.
He's gonna weld himself into being RoboCop. Speaking of welding, DJ is in the chat and says hi to us and asks if you're watching it on the DVD that he sent you, which you are.
Yes, I should have mentioned that. He sent me this years ago in a package of some other kind of obscure superhero movies, and I was pretty sure it was DJ that sent that, so I'm glad he's here to confirm it. DJ, apparently they put a Blu-ray out recently that has yet another new Gunn commentary, and I wish I had gotten that for this. But I'm also glad that I watched your DVD because I've had this forever and I never watched it. So now I've done it.
Yeah,
that was probably
absolutely.
like 14 years ago.
Also with the Thomas Hayden Church thing, his performance here reminded me of his performance in the 2019 Hellboy reboot. So not the current Hellboy reboot, but the previous Hellboy reboot.
I forgot he was
we have so many Hellboys. Yeah, he's Lobster Johnson. He's in one scene.
But he's got like a similar. Johnson? That's a good casting for him.
And he's amazing. I love him in that movie. But yeah, because I think it was like 2017 they announced he was going to be in a new superhero movie. And at the same time we knew that Thanos' henchmen in Infinity War were going to be like celebrities was the big thing that they'd said. And I was like, oh, so he's surely going to be one of them. And then that ended up not being true anyways. And then I completely forgot about it, and then he popped up in Hellboy, and it was awesome.
That's really great. Let me read the super chats real quick, because Bob the Hun had one about Scooby-Doo a while ago, and I should have read it so I could have gotten it back when we were talking about that. But $5 super chat, he says, the cast actually signed on because of the more adult script, which they thought was hilarious. It became a kid's movie after everyone was already cast. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
that
was what I always thought it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Oh, Chewbacca's Lover says, when I watch Super again, I will like it. I have not seen that movie 4 times. I guess it's possible. It's not likely in my brain, but it could happen. Because none of these movies have I just hated. It's always just, I don't get it, I can't get into this, and then I watch it a few times, and all of a sudden it all clicks. Super, I, hated. Really disliked. So
it's going to take a 5th viewing for that one.
We're going to come on to do that, and I'm just going to be completely silent the whole time, let Austin gush about it, and be like, why do I have to sit through this? Killer Moth Returns. Or that'll be the 5th viewing, and then I'll like it while we're watching it.
Yeah, I'll be gushing, you'll be like, you know what? This is really good.
That's not going to happen. Probably. Killer Moth Returns, $2 super chat. Cap having to micro dose gun movies is hilarious. It's been just this ongoing thing. Mm-hmm. DJ, along with other such gems as Zoom, Underdog, and maybe Super Capers. I can't remember what was in that box. Yeah, those were definitely there. Zoom, I'm interested in doing. I know that movie's not supposed to be very good, but I was listening to a review recently with Tim Allen where he brought that movie up, and I was like, oh yeah, I've still never seen that. And he talked about what it was supposed to be versus what it ended up being, and it sounded like a really cool concept that was just kind of gutted. It sounds like
Oh, that's too bad. I was gonna say that's the Tim Allen movie, right?
it is.
I've never seen that. I have seen Underdog though, but not Super Capers.
He just said
So
the thing that he refuses to say. I know this actor from something. I cannot put my finger on it.
I had that too, and
I
I
should have looked that
forgot
up.
to look it up. This is the best scene of the entire movie for me. Is the toy commercial? It's so good.
Yeah, Gunn agrees with you. He said that in the commentary.
Yeah, the funniest thing in this entire movie is Minute Men being black for diversity.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
And then the guy just turns to Gunn. He's like, "Well, I think you have like vaguely African features."
And the Richard Dawson head is pretty funny.
Yes, that's good.
And they said they really struggled with getting a celebrity to sign off on a likeness. So the only people they could get were Richard Dawson and then like somebody most people have never heard of. And they were like, that joke won't even play. Nobody knows who that is. I don't know who it was supposed to be. Oh, and then they make two of the characters in the team the villains. So they have bad guys to fight.
Well, and it was a demon girl. Her weapon is just a thermometer, like a meat thermometer, and it's not like a toy one. It just literally is a meat thermometer.
That was
It's
pretty
so
good.
funny.
It's just so super cheap. And like we should have I feel like this is one of those gags that sneaks up on you, but you should expect because this team is supposed to be like kind of pathetic and nobody cares about them. And so of course this would be their luck that they would finally get the recognition they think they deserve and they're being exploited for commercialism.
Yeah, it like really kind of hit me sideways. I was not expecting that at all. But you're right. That is probably like the only place you can go with that.
No, and I wasn't expecting that to be as like authentic to those commercials as it is. Like it's spectacularly shot.
We're seeing like the CEO of DC's film studio going, "Wait a minute, I'm black."
Oh, DJ, I didn't know Courtney Cox was in Zoom. He says she could have been good
I
in
didn't know
actual
that either.
quality superhero comedy, and instead she's in two not very good superhero movies. Hilarious.
What superhero movie besides Zoom?
You and I did a commentary on it already too.
Oh, Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. There we go.
You got it. You can have your geek card back.
Thank you. At least she can be in Scream sequels to the end of time.
If Austin hadn't remembered Masters of the Universe, I would have announced the dissolution of the Superhero Rewind project.
That's my version of what Rob Lowe does.
Yes. I'd like to announce the dissolution of the Superhero Rewind commentary project. But yeah, this whole scene I think is easily the best stuff in the movie. Maybe tied, almost tied with the scene with 8 in the diner. I really like the writing in that scene.
Yeah. Well, and that scene is just like a good scene. Like this, I think, is the funniest stuff in the movie.
Yeah, and some of the best shot if you count everything that happens outside.
Yeah.
Like this whole section is when it really comes alive as a like patent registered trademark James Gunn movie where he could have directed the stuff outside. Like that feels like standard James Gunn stuff to me.
Well, and this is obviously your big like. All of the money went into this section. Where like we went out and filmed in like a hall or like a I don't know like a not like a convention area because it's more of like a yeah, like a hall they like rented out.
That's true too, but jarringly, the editing style massively changes here, and I think it's really effective. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I want the whole movie to look like this, but I wish more of the movie was a little bit more just imaginative in its editing. Like when you get to this, you didn't I didn't think this movie was capable of what it does in this scene. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a lot more generic, and I know I keep saying sitcom, but it really feels like that. Like you can almost see, they probably didn't shoot it like this, but I can almost see like a 3 camera setup earlier. It's just so routine the way it's shot,
Mm-hmm.
and then you
Well,
get
we
here and
have
it really comes alive.
and we have quite a few, like sitcom or TV actors too, which is obviously, a part of it being lower budgeted.
Absolutely. It reminds me a lot of the Patrick Warburton Tick series, which is just the year after
Sure.
this, but
Mm-hmm.
in being like the between the raindrops moments when you're not out fighting crime, and again how dysfunctional these superheroes are, and they live in a world of a bunch of uh, some of them pathetic superheroes and some of them decent ones, but they're all just out for themselves. If you go watch and this is one of the best episodes of that show, maybe the best episode. If you go watch the episode with their kind of Justice League, the league, there's a lot of commonalities with the scene when the the Weevil goes to be in the big league in this. That episode of the Tick is called the Big Leagues, but watch that. It has a lot in common with this.
And this, of course, is Jenna Fisher's cameo, Pam from The Office. That classic Gunn nepotism, right?
Yeah, it's pretty funny that his wife's one line is, or like one of her only lines is to tell him "f you." That's pretty great.
That's how you know it was his first wife.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. I just wasn't exactly sure what the word choice was gonna be. I was really waiting to see how you'd phrase that.
Still no way to take that.
Okay, so who is in your mind the most like creative superhero parody character in this?
Oh, the most creative.
What's the superhero with kind of the coolest like power idea, or that's like riffing on something you think is fun?
Uh, like I said, Minute Man is up there. I also like Demon Girl. I like the joke earlier where she's like, "Yeah, I summoned a demon and I ate a child."
I think it's
And then we
Deadly
just,
Girl.
oh, okay. Did I get? Okay, yeah, it might be Dead. Yes, Deadly Girl. You're right.
That's
Sorry, my
whatever, but
bad.
that's what her actual name is. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes with like, and this isn't just this movie. It's anything outside of the big two. Like I have it with even things like The Boys, like Invincible.
That's gonna be
Uh,
the reboot.
where the kind of like generic superhero names that a lot of them have just kind of don't ring like in my brain in a way that like sticks. But yes, Deadly Girl, you're right. Uh, I like that. I like Alien Orphan's pretty good. Especially that one's funny because it's like the Superman origin, kind of.
Oh, that's true. I didn't put that together.
Where it's like this alien baby that they find, and then it's a little different because it's like a blob.
Yeah,
And we
he
don't
has
know
more
anything
of like the
about
New
him.
52 origin where the government finds him.
He's goo like Matrix Supergirl.
Oh, that's true. That's true too. I think Amok is a really good name. That feels like an X-Men
Yes.
name, especially for kind of an anti-hero who goes back and forth between the good side and the evil side.
Yeah, well, and because of the like Nightcrawler thing, he's got one of the coolest looks.
Mm-hmm. I I think it's interesting how powerful some of these characters are in a team that is supposed to be like C-list and nobody cares, which happens in comics, by the way, all the time. Like you look at some of those like offbeat X teams, and you have characters with really gnarly cosmic kinds of powers, and you put them all together, and they should be able to like destroy or take over planets, and nobody gives a crap. And like I don't know if Gunn's doing that on purpose, but I think it's really funny when you get to the end of the movie and we visualize in a very sci-fi original movie kind of a way what some of those powers actually look like, and you're like, this should be like the big team on this planet. And then you compare that to, and I know this is like a million years later, you compare that to things like the first Suicide Squad movie where we make a big deal out of metahumans and only like one character on the entire team even counts as one of those. And you're here, and you have to keep being reminded that all these characters are supposed to have powers because they never use them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean,
I just think that juxtaposition is kind of
Suicide Squad specifically, obviously Polka Dot Man is like a loser, but his power is like genuinely scary when you see it put to use.
Well, of course, I was talking about the first Suicide Squad movie where it's like, oh, metahumans. And it's like, nobody has any freaking powers in that movie.
Sorry, I gotcha.
No, the Suicide Squad actually has a few characters with powers. Yeah. No, I know. I was talking about Suicide Squad earlier, so I was being confusing.
Their names are so close, like it's easy to hit that off. And this is obviously a James Gunn movie like that, so...
And then I don't know what Clarissa Explains It All is doing in this movie.
She's explaining it all.
Just all of a sudden, like, this was a really popular actress right then. It's kind of crazy she just shows up in this for a cameo.
See, when she popped up, I was like, I feel like this is a cameo of someone, but I don't know who.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I didn't immediately recognize her because she's got a sunflower on her head. And then after a bit, I was like, oh no, that's because she's that, and she was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like, that was a major TV star.
Oh, okay. Well, I just like it later on.
It was before your time, Austin.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I just like the bit later where James Gunn goes to Judy Greer's house, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm joining this team." This like lesbian chick came over and like convinced me to join.
Dan Schneider says Alien Orphan is obviously Martian Manhunter. He says you're wrong, Austin. Yeah, but Martian Manhunter isn't raised on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference there.
Yeah, exactly. I was just saying in terms of that, like, in looks and whatnot. Yeah, I guess he would be more so your Martian Manhunter.
I think the most creative idea on paper is, and you mentioned it too, but is see, now I want to call her Demon Girl.
A Deadly Girl.
What would you say it was? Deadly. I can't keep these characters straight. Deadly Girl. I like her power. Like the idea that she can go to the underworld and come back out anywhere on the planet. That's a really cool idea. And that she's constantly communing with the dead, but she's got to figure out how to be like a player in this family. That whole dynamic is just really fun.
But I like when Gunn asks her, you know, what's it like being able to communicate with the dead, and she's like, I don't know, just do what you ask.
But she's really fun. She seems like almost a Raven parody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she's like the kind of goth girl of the team.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
Because you have that, and then obviously Nightbird is more like your Jubilee or Kitty Pryde.
Mm-hmm.
She also made me think of one of the... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's the moment the movie really kind of turns for me on first viewing, where it feels like we're just kind of screwing around and doing superhero parody and here for a lot of jokes and some of the kind of obvious like comedic deconstruction of superheroes. And then the moment where the bird girl comes in and says and gives the whole thing some perspective and is like, what are we even doing here? That's when I know we're actually about some stuff. You know, where there's hints of it.
Yeah,
There's some, you know, kind of standard satire about about corporate stuff and the superheroes just um, being used to make people money and all of that. And then you get that moment, and I'm like, okay, now I know what the point of this is.
mhm. Yeah, she reminds me, and this is actually what I was just about to say. Like as well as like your kind of Kitty Pride thing. She reminds me a lot of Jolt from Thunderbolts, who is that kind of role where she's like the new kid that comes in partway into that series, and then she has exactly what you're saying, where obviously that's like a team of villains after that's outed. She's the one that's kind of like, wait a minute, like we should be doing it for this reason. Like she's the heart of the team.
Yeah.
And it made me think a lot about that, especially because I know Gunn wanted to make a Thunderbolts movie, where I was like, oh, like he's already kind of influenced by that going this far back.
Yeah, she's kind of got the rat catcher role, except she's got to be more jaded about it.
Mhm.
Because with Ratcatcher, it's more I'm kind of setting an example and showing everybody how it's done, and with her, it's the shattering disillusionment. She's the fangirl, like
Yeah, which
it's
is very much what it is with Jolt, where she's a teenager that's like a fan of the Marvel universe, and then gets brought into this, realizes what's going on, and she's like, "Oh, the girls kind of assholes.
yeah.
Like that sucks. Like
Another thought
be
I had.
better."
This is a joke that doesn't work for me, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When he says Weevil at the end of that, just to make it awkward. Like we've all had that moment, but I don't know. That didn't play for me. I was like, why did you write that in your script? Okay.
But I do love this guy's costume, so
Oh no, that's
I'm
pretty great.
distracted by that. Uh,
It's very
this is what I wish.
Ozymandias.
That's what I was gonna say. This is what I wish Ozymandias looked like in the movie.
He looks like he's gonna
Well,
get
it's like,
swallowed by his costume.
he's like Ozymandias if the like this part of it was fitted for overkill. He's got like those shoulder pads.
Why does everything go back to overkill with us?
Because he's wonderful. He's a beautiful man.
I've had this with other things, but it struck a chord with me here and was driven home a lot more with this than I'd had it before Austin, which is this whole thing plays to me like superhero teams used as an allegory or a metaphor for corrupt charities.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I think you're exactly right about that.
Where it's like you're all about PR and your public perception, and behind the scenes you're just worried about payroll and how much money you're taking in, and again how everybody is perceiving you. But like you notice the last thing besides Nightbird that anybody is talking about is the actual job, and like and like why they're there, except for Strobe and his power responsibility thing. But even that, he's a lot more about the public perception than he is anything. So he's not talking about the responsibility they have to save people. He's talking about the responsibility they have to set an example. And like, yeah, that would be important, but his emphasis is really in the wrong place.
Yeah, they're not worried about feeding the kids. They're worried about having badass UNICEF action figures.
And I think it could have maybe been driven home a little bit better at the end that his perspective is off. But I do like that we do make a big deal out of there's some truth in what he's saying, and that's in this scene. When 8 brings back the story he tells at the beginning and is like, I mean, you're not wrong.
Mhm. Yeah, and that makes me wonder if you could have brought that out more with a mockumentary type thing, where it's
Yeah,
like you're getting a documentary into this, charity, and getting to kind of see how it's actually run. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's a really great point.
It could have been brought a little bit more to the forefront with that.
The scene with oh sorry, I want to go back a couple of scenes because there was a thing I meant to bring up, and this is very minor, Austin, but the kid that or the guy that was a superhero as a kid and decided to give up being a superhero that runs fast. You got that runs the welding company. I you got the scene where Strobe shows up and they do a sound effect like he ran over real fast, but they do no
Yeah.
effect for it. He just steps in a frame. They go and he just steps in a frame. I think that whole thing was an afterthought. Like I think when they filmed it, he just steps in a frame, and then they went, "Oh, we should have a sound effect here." And he just goes.
See, I had the opposite where I was like, he wrote that in the script, and then they realized, wait a minute, we don't have the money to do that.
But the reason I'm thinking that is because he's not even hustling to get there. He just steps in the frame.
And it's really funny.
It is really funny.
This movie also kind of does the no capes thing before. No capes in a sense, in that you have the like all the stretchy power people are dead.
That's a great gag. Yeah, the idea that there'd be this
Like a Holocaust for
concentrated
rubber
area
people.
where a bunch of people get the same power because of radiation or something, and then it kills them all in 6 months.
Yeah, it's like a Holocaust for rubber people.
So there's some intentional awkward comedy in this movie that just doesn't fully work for me. I don't fully get the point of this moment.
He's just so childlike.
Like, and I get that, but what I'm thrown off by, and it's like, is his mom also kind of like that? He was raised that way, and that's part of why he's like that. Because I just assumed that he was supposed to just be kind of on the spectrum. We were doing that thing years before people are really talking about it like we talk about it now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have that. Also, just I think it's just like a wholesome moment before it's funny.
Well, yeah,
That
but
like
it
his mom
plays.
kind of plays into it.
But they try to play it almost disturbing, and that's why I'm not really understanding what the point of the scene is ultimately. Because at
Also,
first
I
it's
didn't have
like
a disturbing take.
I think it is, and I'll tell you why. So
Yeah.
they're just laughing about this like really like mundane joke where the whole point with him. What is that character's name? U.S. Something.
Bill, something like
That's
that.
what it is. USB. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are not the most memorable superhero names. U.S. Bill, and apparently
I said I struggle to remember just not big two hero names, anyways.
Gunn said in his commentary that a lot of them had different names initially, and then they found out that they were really obscure copyrighted characters in comics, and they had to change them. So that's probably a character that had a different name before. But anyway, he's like you said, childlike. He's supposed to be that character that like sees the joy and wonder in every little mundane thing, and it makes everybody really uncomfortable. And of course, he doesn't get social cues, and so he's really socially awkward. But there's also something endearing about how he sees the joy and the wonderfulness in everything. But the scene with his mom, they're laughing about this like totally like unfunny thing they notice, which is just she puts her head in a certain place where it looks like there's an ear over her or something. And then when we keep cutting back, we keep using the same footage. And so like that makes it weird. And then right at the end of it, we get this shot of her where she looks like confused or irritated or something, and then we cut right away from it. And so I'm like, is the idea that that scene didn't exactly happen the way we saw it? Like, there's something intentionally disturbing about it. I don't know what happened in that scene.
See, I didn't have it that she looked annoyed. I thought it was just it's like that weird Civil War bit where we have like the comedic bit with Spider-Man and then Iron Man like flips back to like dramatic as he turns to that. I had more of like that kind of a thing where it's like, okay, now that bit's over. So I didn't really read it that way, but I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, there's a surrealness to it that confused me.
Hmm.
Because I don't even feel like we're seeing that scene in real time. Like, I don't know how
No, I
long
just
that
thought it.
they're actually there doing that. They keep cutting between the same shots.
Mhm. No, I just thought it was like a little wholesome moment, and then that was just kind of it. Like I know I didn't have that.
Yeah, that didn't really wholesome at all to me. It read intentionally really freaking weird.
I mean, it's definitely weird, but it's because he's weird.
So I don't know. It's weird. After years of watching gun movies, this feels like the most obligatory thing in the movie, but it's the first time he does it.
Hmm.
Where it's like you got to have that scene where at least several of them all come together in just a big party moment. Um, it's the song is irritating, so like that kind of takes away from the scene to me. I
Oh, I don't have that at all.
Yeah, I didn't like that song at all. And it felt like it was ripping off a really good Johnny Cash song, so that was annoying. But then also, and that's whatever. But that was just the experience I had with it. And then
Yeah,
and then of course I'm distracted by the thing where they're all doing this choreography they couldn't possibly have learned.
I know it's great. I don't know. That was something I was like, oh, that it's cool that this kind of thing that he obviously likes doing in projects kind of goes all the way back. Like you can see a line from this to say something like a Peacemaker.
Yeah, and I think there's just certain sensibilities he has that always resonate with you, where I'm like rolling my eyes because I've seen it so many times, and that's not fair to
Mhm.
this because it's the first time. But
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a nice little team moment.
so I guess I'm not totally sure what the point is of hooking these two up.
I think it's just that, like, I think she just has a thing from him from the get go, which I picked up more on, like, multiple viewings. So
No,
it's
you're right
another one of
about
those
that.
things. And I think it's just one of those, like, he doesn't see it. It's that Taylor Swift, "You Belong with Me" thing, where it's like, you're looking for somebody, but
They were
she was
there all
right here
along.
next to you the whole time. Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense. And then maybe the idea is we're looking for different motivations for everybody to come back to the team. And so like four of them we have in that bar, so we got that knocked out. And then one of them we're gonna say double crosses the team, and so he's just out. And
Mhm.
then you have you have the Strobe and his wife, and they reconcile in a weird way, and so that brings them back together. So I guess it's looking for motivation to bring everybody back in the fold.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly that too.
Dan Schneider, $2 super chat. I think Alien Orphan is supposed to be R word. I don't know what that means.
Um,
Oh, I see. I see what he's saying. Yeah, yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, and that also seems like in a kind of, especially in 2000, kind of an obligatory thing where it's like you called it the special, so you have to have the one that's in that category. That
Well, I
people would
like
call it
that.
special, and then they have the kind of running joke about that where they keep saying like the specials go to special school.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I like that the way they handle it, and that it's not because you could have gone like way farther with that, but that I like that it's like they're this lower team, so it's something that people make fun of them for. Like it's not really,
It's not actually true.
uh, yeah, and it's not indicative of what their name is.
But you have immature people that are going to call them that.
Yeah, exactly. It also took me multiple viewings to realize that oh, what is her name? The one it's maybe like Power Chick or something like that.
Power
The one
chick.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the one that's connected to Alien Orphan. That she's like a parody of Ellen DeGeneres.
Yes. I got that after a couple of viewings too.
Mhm.
And I started seeing a lot of really similar mannerisms and stuff.
Yeah, like fully connected, and even that when we're doing like this is the team, and we have her on the magazine. I think it's like almost a direct parody of the coming out Ellen DeGeneres magazine cover.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, actually, you said who has the most creative power? I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it to Nightbird just for the line. I can hide, but my really good bird hearing will make it easy for me to give a description to the police.
Yeah, she says to give a deposition in court.
That's what it
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
yeah, that's the most creative power.
Well, and she lays eggs that do different things.
Mhm.
Apparently, maybe. I'm actually not totally sure by the end of the movie if that's actually true.
Oh no, I
It
think that's just them supporting her. I think she just lays eggs.
well, no. The reason I'm not sure is because Strobe plays it like a reveal, where he's like, no, her power is not going to be that useless because we don't just take in anybody. And then he's like, her eggs can do anything, and so I couldn't decide. I think he thinks that's true, but we never actually see it happen, and she doesn't confirm what exactly they do because they just start speculating about all the different things that they can do, and I'm like, well, she's laid them. Why doesn't she tell us what any of them have ever done? Oh, she never does that.
Well, I think that moment, the way it read to me was, Rob Lowe's like, look how useless she is. She just lays eggs. So, like, that's just them supporting her. That's not actually something that they do.
No, look at it
That's kind of
again.
how
I
I read
really,
it.
I really don't think that's true. I really don't think you're right about it because I think it's playing like a reveal because he's like, we wouldn't let in just anybody. Like her power set is not like good enough compared to how powerful the rest of them are, and I think that's him
Mhm.
proving why he put her on the team.
But even then, like, when she's talking afterwards, she's like, oh, I just hide. Like, I can't really do anything.
Well, then the question I had was like, how often can she lay eggs? What are the circumstances? Can she do it like in a fight, or does she have to like do that when they're just at home and then bring them with her?
Hmm. Yeah, that I'm not sure about. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like she just lays just eggs. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, there's something about the way he says it. I don't know why you'd say it like that.
Hmm. Well, I think it's just because it's that, like, she's like, "Oh, I'm a loser," and he's like, "No, no, of course you have more than you can do with that. Like, your eggs can do all sorts of things."
Yeah, I
Is
get what
kind of
you're
the way that it
saying.
read to me.
I really don't think that was the point of it. But it's
Hmm.
also really ambiguous, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But we've known about the egg laying power for a while. Like that in itself is also a little bit of a reveal.
Hmm.
And so it's odd that we would get that as just kind of a consoling thing. And I also think it's odd if he does that and if she actually takes that as comfort because it would because I would think it would read almost condescending, where it's like, no, you got these eggs that do all these cool things, and she's got to know they don't. And so, I don't
Hmm.
know. It's weird if
Well, I
that's
think
how
it's
you
just like
wrote
the
it.
public image thing because he's coming out and being like, "Hey, everybody, check out how much of a loser this person is," and it's clearly something she's uncomfortable about. Like
If
throughout the movie, they're like, "What do you do?"
that's
And
not bad, but if that's supposed to be the idea, it needs a rewrite because that didn't come out to me at all. Like that makes sense if it's like wink, wink, nod, nod. No, we'll tell the public that that's what you can do. I wasn't getting that sense at all.
well, yeah, especially because throughout the movie, they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" She's like, "I don't really want to talk about it." Uh, so like that's kind of the moment where they're like, "No, no, we're all going to come to the support of this person that we care for now,"
Okay, well,
and
maybe you're
like.
right about that, but I wasn't getting that. So
Mhm.
I think that needed to be made clearer then.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
You're probably right, and that makes sense, but I didn't get that well. And I watched it 4 freaking times. I didn't get that. So
Damn you, James Gunn and Craig, eh, whatever your name is, Mason or whatever.
yeah, no, it needs some polish. Like I didn't feel like it
Mhm.
was like the script was quite done.
Well, I mean, I think James Gunn, just as a creator, is somebody where, like, I think we've actively seen him grow as both a writer and a director.
Yeah, of
So, like,
course.
I don't disagree.
He also wrote this in 3 weeks.
That's crazy. I mean, that's probably not too far from how fast he writes now.
Yeah, but I think he revises now. I don't think this had any revision at all. I like, well, I mean, that's not fair either because they probably forced him to change some stuff he didn't want to change. But I just mean, I doubt he made a lot of passes on it.
Mhm. Yeah, I've always gotten the sense that he tweaks before he does like full revisions.
I like Mr. Smart's inventions.
Yeah,
I think those
he's got
props are
his
all really funny.
he's got his crazy nose and smile machine.
Yeah, the smile machine is the best.
It reminded me of the Treehouse of Horror bit where Flanders takes over and they go to like the re-education and they have like the hooks in their mouth to make them smile.
Dan Stan, there's some jokes in here that feel like they could have been written by the troll edgy James Gunn who used to make bad taste tweets on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, it was that time in his life.
And
And a
he's
lot of
a
that
trauma
was
guy.
a lot of that was just the stuff I didn't find particularly funny. Just wasn't at my taste.
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess I'm more surprised that there isn't more of that because I really could have seen more of that throughout the movie.
No,
I
I
really didn't
also
know what to
expected more of
expect
it.
going.
That's why I came around on it more on a fourth viewing. There was plenty of other stuff to latch onto. But that
When
stuff
I really
puts
didn't
me
know what
off
to
enough
expect
that I
going into
have a hard
this.
time getting into it in the first place.
Hmm. No, and I didn't know what to expect going into this at all. Like part of me thought it could be like a Dark Star situation, John Carpenter's first movie, where it's like, it's interesting historically, but like I'm probably never gonna watch it again. Like I can see myself putting this on now and then. Like I don't think this feels like it's only noteworthy because somebody who became somebody worked on it. Like I do feel like this just is a movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not entirely unmemorable. So this is a really weird cameo, and you're not gonna know about this, Austin. But the woman on the TV is Chase Masterson, who I've actually met in person. She is Lita on DS9. She's got a recurring major role in that show, and it's really weird that she's in this to be on screen for 3 seconds. And like it's obvious they shot more with her and they just didn't use it. But like it's really odd that she's here.
That is weird. That all of their like big people, I guess, are just the cameos, except for
Yeah.
Rob Lowe and
Well, and that's not to
Jamie
say that
Kennedy.
she's a major star or anything, but like I'm familiar with her. She's in lots of episodes of that show. It's just really weird that she shows up for 3 seconds.
Hmm. Yeah, that's not just like some extra.
Yeah, that could have been anybody.
If that could have been James Gunn's wife.
And her name is in the opening credits, and she's there 3 seconds. Like I saw her there, and I was like, "Oh, Chase Masters in this movie." And then on first viewing, I kid you not, I didn't even notice her.
Well, they had to pad out the credits.
What is she doing here? Chewbacca's lover, aside from F bombs, there's nothing to really make this R. There isn't that much that's explicit. There's a couple of other, like, really sexual lines that would probably get you into R territory. I would think.
Mhm.
Almost, they almost had more, though. There's that bit where he says, Weevil effer, and that was supposed to be the C word? Like, they almost went a lot further.
Oh,
You gotta
weird.
love the most generic alarm klaxon.
That's wonderful. Well, this is like one of the big things where I'm like, oh, this feels like a Channel Awesome movie, or like I don't know, the '90s Animorphs TV show
Yeah, and like I
when
said,
they
Sci-Fi Channel original movie. Like
yeah.
when
Oh,
Alien Orphan
it's
turns
beautiful.
into that flying creature, that is right out of one of those.
Oh, it's fantastic.
There's a part of me that kind of wishes they hadn't gone there, and you could like just leave all the power stuff to your imagination. Like it's really funny, but I kind of like just how low budget and totally talky and just sitcom it is.
So I think I like that it goes to this place. I wouldn't want to see like a fight or anything like that. I think that would go too far. But um, I like this is like the big like, oh man, here we go. They're actually using their powers. Like this is the money shot bit because it looks so bad and it's just so charming. I love that it's like on someone's porch and there's like a little sign that says the specials on it. It's just a
Yeah,
house.
it's the house.
It's so funny. I
I
don't know.
almost
I
wanted
think that's a
them.
great payoff.
Yeah, I almost wanted them to go further and make that a like TV intro.
Mhm.
Like give it a theme song
Yeah,
and put a
put
put
in
a
the
title at the end
Munsters
of it.
theme.
Say again.
Well, then put in the Munsters theme.
Right,
Uh,
because it's in front of a house. That's true.
yeah, and then I like that you get like the team shot where they're all there afterward. They all posed for a picture nobody took.
Exactly. Dan Schneider from the DVD cover. I thought this was going to have a lot more sex and nudity. I was bitterly disappointed.
Oh no.
Well, you have to go somewhere else for that, Dan. Luckily, you only had to sit through an hour and 20 minutes before you realized that it didn't have what you were there for.
There's like a half an hour of fully graphic nudity that they had to cut.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, just to put this into historical perspective, I don't know. I just think he's really funny.
Mhm.
Apparently, he was in Second City and stuff. Like he's like a veteran comedic actor.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of people just I know from sitcom stuff. Like Paget Brewster's somebody that pops up in a lot of sitcoms.
Hmm.
Judy Greer's big on Arrested Development right after this. Thomas Hayden Church was more of a comedy guy. Like obviously is like we associate him more for like Spider-Man 3, but like he was like a comedic actor. He almost is kind of like a Tim Allen, I would say, like in being in this. And
I
then
really like the
Rob Lowe,
pay.
of course.
I really like the payoff at the end. Uh, with Weevil, where his career is kind of ruined by all of this. Where like
Hmm.
I like that he kind of shot himself in the foot, and he thought that that would heighten his profile, and it actually screwed up everything.
When I wasn't prepared for like, oh, he's a douchebag, he's got nipples on his costume, I was
Yeah.
not prepared for that joke on a first viewing. That is awesome. When he's like the peacemaker, right? Like in the Suicide Squad, like that's kind of the role he is. Obviously, this isn't like an action movie, so we're not gonna go as far as that does. But like he is the person on the team that's kind of a jerk and outside of them and can't fully connect with them.
Yeah, that's true. Although even Peacemaker in his way is more endearing than this guy. Like he's
Yes.
scarier, but Peacemaker at least has a worldview and thinks that like he's entirely misguided, but like he thinks he's helping the world. This guy is out for nobody but himself. Like at all,
Well,
he has
because
no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Peacemaker can spin off in a way I don't think anyone could see Weevil spinning off and being redeemed.
Mm-mm.
Like you are correct about that.
I don't think anybody could spin off from this movie like on their own. Is there a
Uh,
character that could go his own way?
I could see a full 18 season Alien Orphan show just from his perspective.
Yeah, no, no, I couldn't stand 5 minutes
No.
of that.
That'd be
Maybe a
fantastic.
sitcom that's just like Mr. Smart in a laboratory.
Oh yeah, it's like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah, it would work.
Bob the Hun. Why was Weevil's career ruined? I didn't really get what was going on there. I needed a couple of viewings before I understood it too. But the guy with a camera that's following him around, which by the way should have been like the payoff for
The
the
documentary.
documentary. Like it should have been. There's cameras the whole time, like following them around. Uh,
Mhm.
but he calls him a sellout, and so my assumption is publicly, everybody kind of went to the site of the specials, and maybe that even increases their profile
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And
after
then,
he throws her under the bus on TV like that. Throws
mhm. Yeah,
Nightbird.
exactly. Well, and is this before or after Rob Lowe is like actually canceled? I can't remember when that happens.
I don't know much about him, honestly. You got me at a
Oh,
disadvantage
okay.
with that.
Oh, okay. No worries. I think this is before it, but kind of predicted that, I guess.
Get out
Then.
of here, Avon.
No, if you ever need like a sellout person like that, Rob Lowe's a good actor to pick. Just like in Wayne's World.
Well, I'm glad it was appropriate casting. But yeah, just to put everything in historical perspective again, it's just fascinating to me that these guys, Gunn and Safran, make this real underground, hardly anybody saw it movie back in 2000, before you get the 2000s onslaught of superhero movies, and then they become like the architects of a lot of what we have now. And not just because they're both running DC now, but of course, they both have a decade of experience in the two companies
Mhm.
before that, or at least Gunn has a decade. Safran's probably close. But he was producing stuff for DC before we went to the new DCU, and
Yeah, because I think he gets carried over with James Wan because
with
he's
James
like a big
Wan doing
horror
horror stuff, yeah.
producer
So
guy.
he
Yeah,
was there for at least Aquaman. I'm not sure what else his name is on in DCEU.
The Shazam movie is the Aquaman movie is that might be it. Oh, and the Suicide Squad. So maybe those.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, so it's just fascinating, and also just all the interconnectivity with a lot of these major superhero movie producers and directors. I found out
Mhm.
from that commentary that Gunn actually made a pilot that didn't get picked up with Joss Whedon right around this time. And then, of course, he worked with Snyder on, was it Dawn of the
Dawn of the
Dead?
Dead.
And so like all of these characters are interconnected and have history together before all of this stuff happens.
Yeah, because you told me about that Whedon pilot, and I was really shocked because I knew that they knew each other, and that I think Whedon was part of Gunn getting the job for Guardians, but I just assumed that was through Nathan Fillion,
So did I.
because Gunn's really close to him. So I was kind of surprised when you told me, like, that they worked on this TV show pilot together.
Yeah. So like he worked with or is friends with all of these people.
Hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, like how small the world is.
Were there any other real quick before we get into tweet length reviews and ratings? Were there any other big gun hallmarks that we didn't think to bring up that you can think of? Because I think I
Um,
hit most of my big ones.
yeah, I feel like we hit all of them. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones.
I could sit
Uh,
down and get pretentious and try to come up with analogs for all the Guardians. I didn't do that.
hmm. Yeah, I guess you have like kind of that like misunderstanding, like nuance type thing. You have that with uh,
You're right.
Thomas Hayden Church's character and
Well, U.S. Bill.
U.S. Bill. Well,
He's
I was gonna say both of them
yeah, he's kind
to
of the
different
Drax.
degrees. Yeah, well, it's like I feel like in a weird way, Thomas Hayden Church is like Drax mixed with Star Lord, and then, or actually, I'm gonna say like Drax mixed with like a Captain America, but then U.S. Bill is almost like a Mantis. I was thinking more so,
Oh, that's
but
interesting. Sure. And
mhm,
then, yeah, that's fair. Just in how they're completely out of touch with the culture, and
mhm.
then you have like Gamora is like Miss Indestructible is maybe loosely a Gamora type character.
Hmm. Well, and actually, I just had this thought, and you wouldn't have known this because you haven't seen it, but U.S. Bill's almost kind of like a vigilante with his weird like obsession with like his mask and like people not finding out his secret identity.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk
He
about
kind of
that.
goes back into that with that show with vigilante.
Well, I like the
Uh,
way Gunn's playing with traditional superhero tropes, with that stuff, where none of these characters really have a secret identity except for him, and it's completely pointless that he does.
mhm.
And
When it's such a good gag, then when you get to the toy commercial and
yeah, and
his
he's
toys
mad that his mask is
features, his mask
removable.
takes off. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
no,
good.
no, that's pretty good. Um, but like, I think it's important that he's like the most innocent of them, at least until Nightbird shows up, and he's trying to do the traditional superhero thing, and so
Mhm.
that's why he's got a mask and thinks that's important. And again, he's just totally out of touch and doesn't get how it would make no difference whether he was wearing that or not. Or maybe it would if he took it off and people knew who he was. I mean, I like that that's left completely ambiguous.
Hmm. The big one that's not in this movie at all, though, is like daddy issues, because that's a thing across like all of his work for the most part.
That's a
And
good
there's none of
point.
that
I
here.
guess that doesn't really come up.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think if there's an allusion to it anywhere.
I I don't think there is. I think it is like the one place where that doesn't come up at all.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Hmm.
I guess it's kind of surprising. There's not really talk about anybody's parents.
Hmm. Yeah, you get U.S. Bill's mom. That's about
Oh,
it.
that's
But
true. That's about it.
Gunn doesn't have like mommy issues. It's all dad
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah, this is more like hero worship stuff. This is more like don't meet your heroes and
Hmm.
don't judge a book by its cover, and
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
again, don't compare
But yeah,
yourself to other people.
I think that's like pretty much it for like his kind of parallels that at least I'm thinking of.
But like I said, it did fill gaps for me. It was like
Mhm.
how after this has he not made a movie where the team was together already? Until you get to Justice Gang, and then it's not their movie.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. Or just outside of sequels.
Like I assume the Lanterns will already be the Lanterns, but then he's also not even writing that.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I'm really interested to see now that we're gonna start seeing projects other than his and just how they fit into that world
Yeah, and
and
how
what
much
it
of his
looks like from.
sensibilities are still affecting them.
Yeah, well, because the big one with lanterns is like Guy Gardner. Like what does he look like in somebody else's project?
Hmm. But the nice thing is, I mean, he's not exactly a blank slate, but we didn't do a ton with him in that movie, so there's a lot of like brushstrokes you can still do. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I feel like he's probably going to be one of those things where every time we see him, he's like, "Oh, everybody sucks except me. I'm so cool." And then Lanterns will be the place where like we see that he's like the loser of Green Lanterns
yeah,
and kind of flesh that out more.
yeah, you're right. He can be kind of the king of his own hill when there's no other Green Lanterns around,
Hmm. Yeah, I feel
because
like
just
that's how they're going to do it,
the
but
ring itself makes you important. It's so powerful.
mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's go ahead and get into
Like he's
tweet
the
length.
one that they don't want to have to work with.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into tweet length reviews. I've only got a couple on Patreon,
And I only have one on Discord, so
Okay, I will start then. Daniel Davis, the specials is, oh, and quick plug for Patreon. If you want to do this yourself for future commentaries, patreon.com/geekvolution. The $5 tier lets you put in the tweet length reviews. And, oh, get excited to find out what we're doing next time. No, don't get too excited. Daniel Davis, The Specials is an interesting curiosity. An early James Gunn written superhero sitcom movie about a team of third string superheroes with a lot of commentary on the commerciality of the genre. Unfortunately, the movie does not look great. At least the copy I watched was in poor quality anyway. It's on Blu-ray now, so, it might look a little bit better now. And also, it contains a lot of James Gunn's early crass trauma-style humor that he hadn't quite mastered yet. Still, I was kind of expecting the worst, so it beat my expectations in that regard. Hero. Why don't you go do one? Why don't you go and do the one you have?
This is the only one I have. So this is from Doolittle. He says, The Specials feels both ahead of its time and of its time. I think it's a very silly little movie, Hero.
Yeah, I meant to say this earlier, but it's really odd, all the stuff. We kind of alluded to this earlier, but it's really odd all the stuff that hadn't come out yet when this is out.
Yeah, you really hit it, like put it into perspective for me when we were talking about it off camera, where you go like, oh, this is, 2 years before Spider-Man. And it's like, oh yeah, that is true. Like that's insane.
And it's the same year X-Men comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And this conceptually and look-wise, like everything about it kind of screams it ought to be 03, 04.
Well, and I love Mystery Men, and I do think Mystery Men is a better movie than this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can tell that Mystery Men, like where exactly that is in the history of superhero movies, because it feels like a direct satire of Schumacher.
Schumacher. Mm-hmm.
And this, if you were to just show it to me blind, I'd have no idea. Like, I could not tell you this is from 2000.
That's because this isn't looking at movies at all. It's entirely comic book.
It's entirely comics, and we're not at that point that we will get that stuff on film yet. But we will get that stuff on film, so it makes it feel like it's much later.
Well, and that's why I wish the cameras were there more, because the Gunn's concept with this is it's supposed to be like, again, a real world with superheroes in it. It honestly reads more parody than the way he describes what his concept was. Like, I get the sense that he wanted, in the more documentary feel, this sense of it's more the world that we live in, and it just happens to have superheroes in it. But the problem with that is that he goes so comic booky with the power sets and things that there's no way not to look at it as parody.
Mm-hmm.
And he writes a lot of it kind of as parody, and so like that's not all on the filmmaking. Like that's not all on this director whose name I can never remember.
It's like Craig Mazin.
Yeah. So, some of it really is in his script writing. I think he's a little bit at odds with himself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's just that because he's like a comic book guy, he naturally goes to laughing at some of that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, absolutely. What is your next Patreon
My last
review?
one is from Chewbacca's Lover, and he just says the movie was pretty decent, not brilliant, but there were some really creative jokes. All the actors do a really good job. You can tell it was made for no money. Yes, but it had the ambition to match, so he did that right. Like, when you know you've got nothing to work with, you set a lot of your movie inside one house.
Mm-hmm. I
may also have experience with this.
That's also part of what makes it feel so like Channel Awesome movie to me, and like I just find that very endearing with this, where it's like all these people came together to make like a YouTuber movie, and I love that.
It's so weird because there's people you've heard of. I'm really glad ultimately that we ended up having to put this off and it's happening this week, because this is a really good primer for the big event that's happening on the channel this week.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
Uh, this dates this, but if you're watching live right now or you watch this after the fact before Friday, Superhero Rewind the movie comes out this Friday night. I think we're gonna go ahead and premiere it at 7 o'clock Central Time. That time might change. That's the plan right now. Look forward to that. I can't wait for you to see it. It's gonna be great. So that'll be in place of the commentary project, which we're doing this on a weird day. We're doing this on a Monday. That's partly because Austin can't be there Friday, and then we will try to come back again next week because next Friday we also won't be able to broadcast. I've got a writers meeting that night, and Austin's out that night also. So it might be Monday next week. It might be a different day. Austin and I haven't talked about days yet, but we're gonna try to sneak in the next one. We'll go ahead and do our ratings real quick, and then we'll reveal a next movie. Austin, how do you rate this?
So first, I got to ask you,
Yeah.
what is the Barbenheimer name for your movie and the Toxic Avenger remake coming out on the same day?
It's so weird that I'm putting that out the same day that's coming out. Maybe
And
I
both on
shouldn't
my
be.
birthday. I don't know why you guys decided that,
Oh yeah,
but
happy birthday, man. I picked that arbitrarily because I wanted it to still be technically within the summer month.
mhm.
Like that was my last opportunity to put it on a Friday.
You were like, I'm gonna show up the Toxic Avenger remake. That'll show them.
Which is funny because there's a Toxic Avenger reference in the movie too.
Oh, that I think that might have actually gone over my head.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, in your movie.
in my
Sorry.
movie, not in this.
Duh.
I'm
I
I'm
was like,
saying
I
it's
don't
funny
remember
that
there
comes
being
out the
one
same
movie.
day because we referenced it.
Hmm. That is great. But as for my ranking,
Yeah.
I will give this movie a hero. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty funny. Like a lot of people have said, it's like nothing groundbreaking or anything. Like it's a fun time, uh, and it's interesting historically, but I don't think it fully is like just that. Uh, and yeah, I'll probably come back to this like every now and then. It's not something I'm gonna watch a ton, but it's not like instantly one of my favorite superhero movies like Mystery Men was.
Yeah.
But this is pretty good.
Yeah, that's definitely on a different level. It seemed like you enjoyed this a bit more than I did, and I'm right in the exact same lane you're in, and I agree with everything you just said. I give it a hero. I do think it's in entertainment that stand on its own okay. I agree with you. I don't think the only reason to watch this is because of its historical significance. I think there's a lot of really clever gags in it, and again, I appreciate that. Maybe this sounds backhanded. I appreciate that it gets in and gets out the way it does. Like premise wise, the kind of humor it
Yeah.
is, you probably don't want to be here all day. And it's just kind of crazy how much it manages to pack in. Does it watch? I didn't suggest this earlier. Does it watch a little bit like a pilot to you? Like this could have been a series, like really
Uh,
easily.
yeah, I could have seen this being a show. Like I said, a lot of it's just that, with the exception of a few actors, like most of them are people I associate with TV, or at least I did then. Like
Yeah.
Judy Greer, I see, in more movies now than TV, but like
Mm-hmm.
at this time, I think of her as a TV actress.
Let's go ahead and
Absolutely.
go to our rankings now. We'll put this on the list. And Austin, I put it. So Mystery Men's at 22, just to keep comparing those for no good reason. I've got it all the way at 32 right now.
Mm.
Because I couldn't see putting it over Batman Returns. So I was kind of in that space with it. So I put it just above Dr. Mordred and just under Scooby Doo Blue Falcon, which I just had a really good time with.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fun movie. Also funny that 'cause Gunn did two Scooby Doo movies that they're right next to each other.
That's true. Austin has it higher on his list, even though we both gave it the same rating. And he's got it at number 20 on his list. So he's got it right under Hulk, and right above Captain America: First Avenger, which is a little surprising to me.
Yeah, I could see that going one way or the other, but those are both movies I think are pretty good.
Yeah, and even above
Uh,
Constantine, which I didn't have the heart to do.
yeah, I should maybe move Constantine up. Looking at that now, I'd
Yeah,
maybe
I
move
don't
that up a little
feel
bit.
totally confident about some of my placements right now either. Like the more movies you
Mhm.
watch, the more it's like, oh no, this should go here and this should go here, and now you're just kind of moving it around like a slider puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially because there's certain movies where you watch them and you're like, either oh I really liked that, or like that really sucked, and then you just kind of get far enough away from it that you don't fully think of that association. You're like, oh yeah, like I remember liking that or disliking it.
Mm-hmm. Chuck's Lover wants to know how old you're gonna be.
How old am I gonna be?
How's
No,
that the stumper question?
because my mind jumped to an answer that was wrong. And I went, wait a minute, that's not right.
36.
Uh, exactly. 39. No, I'm gonna be 28.
God, that's wild.
Yeah,
He's pushing
heading
30,
over to the
folks.
big 3-0.
Yeah, but it's still wild to me just how much younger you are than me.
Yeah,
Here in a
it
few
is
years, we're gonna
scary.
really see it too. You're gonna start really seeing the age gap between us, I think.
Yeah, well, especially because you're like, oh, remember, I don't know, Hogan's Heroes, and I'm like, nah, Blue's Clues is a better show than that. I don't know
For
your
the
old
record, I
TV
have never
show.
in my life uttered those words. I've never to anyone said, "Do you
You're always
remember
talking about how
Hogan's
much you love
Heroes?"
Hogan's Heroes.
My wife likes Hogan's Heroes. She has a box set of that. I don't know. I don't know why.
The world may never know.
Austin, do you know what we're doing next week?
I do, unfortunately.
Well, why don't you go ahead and give everybody the bad news? This is our fault, by the way. We stacked the deck with crap this time on the poll.
Yeah, so I don't know why we decided this, but we decided to do a poll where we only put in female superhero movies.
So naturally, they weren't very good.
No, I don't even remember what all the options were.
Catwoman was on it.
Oh yes, it was Catwoman, Tank Girl, The Marvels,
The
and
Marvels
Supergirl.
and Supergirl. That's what it was.
That's right. That's what it was.
And the winner,
Was Supergirl.
Supergirl. Yeah. And I've done a commentary on that in the past. It's been a lot of years. I did that back with Oliver Harper. And so we're finally going to do an updated commentary on Supergirl. Austin's never seen it, I don't think.
No, I was 50-50 on those. I've seen Tank Girl and the Marvels, but I've never seen Catwoman or Supergirl. So I'm nervous. I'm very nervous.
Which is funny because you put Catwoman on it and I put Supergirl on it.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you should be
No,
nervous, sir. You should.
see, I feel like I will get more. I would get more enjoyment from Catwoman. Well, I feel like Supergirl is just going to be boring, but we'll see.
Dan Zen says, Oy vey, you got the worst of those four. Yeah, Supergirl is a little
Oh,
boring. I think there are a few scenes that will crack you up, but I don't know that it'll be worth those will make it jump over the sum of its parts. Um, but you'll finally experience the magic of the Omega Hedron. So look forward to
yay!
that. And
I've also already seen the worst movie with that Supergirl, so that there's only room to go up.
that's probably true. And she's not even the really a bad thing in it. It's just terrible. Like I got not much of an opinion about her in that. That's not why it's bad,
Yeah,
right?
I assume so. I don't know.
Have you never
I
seen
assume
that
she's...
either?
Wait, what are you talking
I
about?
thought we were talking about Flash.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. But she's like, she doesn't even have a line because she's not real. Sorry, the way you said it, the way you were talking about it, I'm like, wait a minute, is there something else that she's in?
No, I was just trying to say like I don't even think she's like the bad thing in the bad like a bad thing in that. She's just kind of there.
Yeah. No, well, I'm more offended by like the Christopher Reeve part of that shot. So you are correct, even with that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was lost. I thought you meant the Supergirl in that, like, that movie is Supergirl. Like, she's in
No,
that
no,
movie.
because
You're talking about
that
the
Supergirl was
shot
in
of
the
that
Flash.
Supergirl. I forgot they did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's her and Christopher Reeve standing side by side. I
That's
knew there was some
right.
sort of miscommunication that we had here,
I couldn't
but
I couldn't tell what I thought you just meant the character. You're like, because you said that's not even the worst movie Supergirl is in, and I thought you just meant
no, I said that
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
I missed that part of it. Okay, I'm caught up
No,
now.
it's okay. It's okay.
This feels like the biggest waste of everyone's time,
Yeah, who's on first?
and I apologize
Supergirl's
greatly.
on first.
No,
Okay.
no, you're right. You're right.
I also
That
just
is
couldn't
the
remember
worst.
that actress's name, so I just had to say that
Yeah, I
Supergirl.
can't think of it right now either. But
It's
that is the
Helen
worst movie.
Slater or something.
Uh,
Yeah,
yes, that is the worst movie that
Christian
Supergirl is.
Slater.
I also have recently. It's funny the timing of this. I also recently picked up the. Did I show you the cover of it? I got the comic novelization of that movie.
Yes, you did show me that. That's beautiful.
I just got
Is
that
that
on
just a
vacation.
single issue?
Yeah, it's a single issue.
They were like, we don't need more
Dan
issues to
Stan, you're
adapt
putting
this
me to
movie.
sleep, guys. We're putting ourselves to sleep. It's fine.
Mhm.
It's fine. The video has basically been over for 10 minutes.
Exactly. As Ferris Bueller said, it's over. Why are you still here?
He just retracted it. It's too late, Dan Stan. I've already read your insult, sir.
No, I want to think that he like passed out, landed on his computer, and had deleted his comment. He's fully been put to sleep.
He did the thing that Ben Urich does at the end of the Daredevil movie, where he presses one button and then it deletes everything slowly across.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna get going. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Sure appreciate it. Come next week for Supergirl, and we'll try to pick something decent after that. That's gonna be our 49th show. We've talked about something big for 50. I don't know if we'll have time to get to it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we
you
have
wanna
to do
try?
Toxic Avenger 2 for that movie, but we can't do that as 50.
Do you want to try? Because we were gonna do it at the start of the year, and we still haven't gotten to it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't mind putting in like the extra work for the comic review too, but
Okay.
no, it's fine.
Okay, we'll see if we can get to it.
Yeah, this might give people some hints as to what it is. But
Yeah, I bet people will be able to guess based on what we said, but we're gonna be obligatory and not actually name it, but we've given you some hints.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It is the Tank Girl movie.
Well, that would give me lead time to reread it. I mean, if I know what's coming, I could go ahead and just start knocking it out again.
Yeah, exactly. No, that works.
Dan Schneider, could you make a Rewind Commentary project playlist? Yes, thanks for reminding me. I've been meaning to do that. And I've also been meaning to make a podcast feed for this. I've been trying to get past the movie, and then I'll try to spend some time getting the Rewind Commentaries updated and make it look like we actually care about the show. Because this is like, to me, kind of the most important thing we do. And I have not made it clear, how to get to those shows. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Bob the Hunt's got it. He knows what it is. I'm still not going to say it.
Chewbacca's Lover got it first.
Not
But yeah.
looking at oh, yeah. Yeah, but we very nearly did that at the start of the year. Austin had this great idea. He was like, we're going to open with it. It's going to be a big deal. It's been 8 months. We haven't done it yet. But I think it's a good 50 show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I only had that thought because I think you did it on New Year's originally.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I think that's the reason I suggested that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a great idea. We didn't ultimately frickin' do it, but it was a really good idea. All right, you guys are great. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I was Captain Logan. This is Austin, the Day Ghost.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.